The market opportunity to store wealth, store value, persist value you create for the world today and bring it to tomorrow is about $400 to $500 trillion. And that is where product market fit and extreme demand is.
What's up, Crypto Crew? Welcome back. Or if this is your first time, I'm Captain Crypto Mite, actively escaping the matrix, scoping out the crypto ocean. So if you like your odds, get on the boat, stay up to date, thumbs up, and join the hunt.
Into the boat!
Crypto Crew, today we're diving into Jack Mallers' recent thoughts on Bitcoin. And I gotta say, Jack, you're absolutely right about so many things. But let me tell you why Kaspa fits perfectly into your vision.
I really think the technology behind Kaspa is unique and is going to work in a cash-based system.
If I wasn't a founder and CEO of Strike, I would be a Bitcoin historian. I've been in Bitcoin for 12 years. I love being a part of its story and reminiscing on the early forums. And someone was asking Satoshi about the volatility. And he said, if we wanted a more stable value, we can make the currency units dynamic. We can change how much Bitcoin should exist based on trying to achieve a stable value. If we want dynamic price, meaning it's going to bounce around a lot, we should fix the currency units. The point is, if you're going to give the world an absolute scarce asset, the only provably fixed asset in the history of our species, and you're going to give it free market access, it's going to be volatile. And where there's risk, there's reward. If you look at Bitcoin Sharpe ratio, it's greater than the Mag 7, than the S&P 500, than gold.
Jack's absolutely right about the importance of fixed supply and scarcity, but here's where it gets interesting. Kaspa takes these core principles and supercharges them with blockDAG technology. Imagine Bitcoin's security and decentralization, but with the ability to process transactions at lightning speed. That's not compromising Bitcoin's principles, it's evolving them. Now, Jack mentioned something crucial about personal responsibility and societal harmony.
I firmly believe that any attempt to restore harmony in society rests on the renewal of personal responsibility. And so us as a business, we're not reliant on Jerome Powell. We don't care about what Mark Andreessen is going to start investing in. We take a personal responsibility to be ethically and morally profitable because we want to be good for the world. We want to make progress in the world. We want to be making the world a better place. And we accept the risks of being in this industry because we understand the reward.
This is exactly why Kaspa is so exciting. The blockDAG protocol maintains that decentralization Jack values so much while making it more accessible for everyday transactions. We're not talking about replacing Bitcoin. We're talking about complementing Bitcoin as Kaspa is Bitcoin's grandson.
So there's three necessary conditions for good to be a store of value. It must have unforgeable costliness. This means that it's expensive and it's difficult to forge, replicate, or produce. And secondly, there has to be a mechanism in place to restrict the ease of forgery, replication, or production. So in the case of gold and silver, this would be mining. And in the case of proof of work, this would be the difficulty adjustment in addition to mining as well. Also, there has to be an objective supply instead of a subjective supply, thereby creating an objective unit account. So money has to be hard, and its hardness is determined by its stock-to-flow ratio. Historically, gold, silver, the gold standard, and Bitcoin have functioned like store of value. But we've never seen a hard form of money that has been a good medium exchange. So with Kaspa, you have a solution to the current traditional payment system, as it's as fast as fiat, but as hard as proof of work. And decentralized finance could finally be decentralized once smart contracts are implemented within Kaspa.
Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Bitcoin is digital gold, Kaspa is digital silver. And like all assets, Crypto Crew, you should protect them. We at your Crypto Crew always encourage you to practice self-custody, and we believe the Tangent Wallet is your best option. Plug and play, easy to use, the most affordable cold storage in our opinion. So if you'd like to order your Tangent Wallet today, you can get 10% off using code Crypto Crew. Check out the link in the description box below. Thanks so much for your consideration and your support. support in advance, and may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you all.
So when people say, can Bitcoin go higher than 100K? Well, the way I think about it is right now, Bitcoin's about $1.5 trillion in market cap. It's going after a $400 to $500 trillion opportunity. And that's in purchasing power terms. So in dollar terms, that'll go up as the currency weakens. So I think Bitcoin still has a 400 to 500x left in it. And then the currency stuff is just growing at a slower pace. And I don't think there's enough demand and product market fit. And I don't think the size of the opportunity is as big relative, if that makes sense. But we'll see. And I think Bitcoin's going to grow to hundreds of trillions of dollars in market cap. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity for all of us to share in that.
Now, when you talked about that $400 to $500 trillion opportunity as a store of value, you hit the nail on the head, Jack. But check this out. Kaspa isn't trying to compete for that spot. Instead, Kaspa is positioning itself to capture the massive market for high-speed, secure transactions while maintaining those core principles you advocate for.
Bitcoin, when the white paper came out, the title was a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And there's a lot of people who see Bitcoin now being more of a store of value, and they think it's hard to see, kind of a medium of exchange and a global reserve currency and hyper Bitcoinization. Given everything we know today, what do you see as the future of Bitcoin? Does it end up just being a store of value? Does it end up being the global reserve currency? Just kind of paint us that picture, 20, 30 years from now, where you see us going.
Product market fit is in what people are calling store of value, but is really, humans own about $900 trillion worth of stuff right now. That's currency, real estate, art, collectibles, precious metals like gold, right? $900 trillion worth of stuff. It's estimated that about half of that is monetized, meaning they own the stuff, they own the house, they own the art, they own the precious metal, not to consume it, not to live in the house, not to look at the art and be like, oh, I love this art, but because they're trying to store wealth, they're trying to preserve value, they're going to sell it later. So that means the market opportunity to store wealth, store value, persist value you create for the world today and bring it to tomorrow is about $400 to $500 trillion. And that is where product market fit in extreme demand is. And the payment stuff, I would say less so. And then the currency stuff is just growing at a slower pace. And I don't think there's enough demand and product market fit. And I don't think the size of the opportunity is as big relative, if that makes sense.
And here's something that would really interest you, Jack. You mentioned Strike's focus on being ethically and morally profitable. Kaspa was fairly launched without pre-mines, just like Bitcoin, and Kaspa's energy-efficient design means you can maintain ethical standards while scaling transactions capacity on internet speed. Kaspa is a proof-of-work crypto project, just like Bitcoin, but optimized for the future. Speaking of which, let's address something you said about humility and not predicting the future.
I think at Strike, we take on this attitude of being humble, as I was just alluding to, and saying like, we don't know. Part of being human is you can't change the past. You don't know the future. We all share in the moment that we call now. We take that approach as a company and we're super customer focused. What I can tell you guys based on running Strike is product market fit is in what people are calling store of value.
That humility is exactly why the crypto space needs both Bitcoin and Kaspa. We don't need to predict the future to see that having options that build on Bitcoin's foundation while solving for scalability is just good business sense. Now imagine Strike powered both Bitcoin and Kaspa. Bitcoin as the ultimate store of value, and Kaspa handling the high-speed, high-volume transactions that your platform and clients need. That's not competing with your vision nor Bitcoin, Jack. It's complementing it. Your commitment to Bitcoin's principles is admirable, and that's exactly why Kaspa deserves your attention. It's not about replacing Bitcoin. It's about evolving the ecosystem in a way that stays true to the core values you champion.
Look at what Tether's doing. Tether has probably invested more in El Salvador because they've gotten favorable regulation and favorable tax treatment than if they were trying to claw pennies out of them with overtaxation, right? So pro-regulation, pro-growth. I think that you want to align incentives with the space. Buy some. Everyone in this room knows that your relationship with Bitcoin is different as soon as you own a little bit. And so I think just making the United States a Bitcoiner, at the very least, aligns with the industry that's arguably the fastest growing and creating the most wealth. I mean, let's be clear. In 15 years, Bitcoin's created $2 trillion worth of new wealth. A lot of that's in this country. And at current growth rates, it's going to be tens of trillions of dollars over the next 10 years. Become in line and incentivized with the space. Put some skin in the game.
I personally think it's a matter of time and adoption before Bitcoin maxis like Jack Mallers will know about Kaspa and embrace Kaspa, because at the making of this recording, Kaspa is tanking just before the first out of many catalysts will roll out, just before the 2025 bull run is expected to resume. Not financial advice, of course, just my conviction I share with conviction.
What other cryptocurrency should you buy? What's the next Bitcoin? Well,
Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. What do you think, Crypto Crew, about Jack Mallers and his thoughts on Bitcoin and how Kaspa complements Bitcoin for the crypto ocean in the foreseeable future? Drop your thoughts below.
Stick around.
Fix your mind before you get to the grind. And with that said, let's continue to escape the matrix. Let's continue to be on the lookout for the next big thing here on the crypto ocean. Grow in grace, and let's make some crypto waves. Say aye.